Okay, there's a new game out there on mobile devices known as Pokemon Go.
Yes,
And
there is, and it's like 1999 all over again.
yeah, I know. I mean, I remember the days when I first heard about Pokemon. I first heard about Pokemon through, of course, commercials of the game for Game Boy.
Yeah, same here.
And then there's the cartoon, which I kind of got hooked on. I shouldn't say cartoon, I mean anime.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anime fans to get all rowdy on me. Okay, so I corrected
Yeah.
myself, guys. Okay, and started playing the game, and I got hooked. You know what I mean? And I bet everyone would say that they got hooked onto the Game Boy game, and not to mention the card game. You remember the card game?
Oh, yes, I do remember the card game because I used to play it a lot. I had an awesome deck, and I was unbeatable in terms of Pokemon cards.
Oh wow. Yeah, I used to collect them, but I never really played them. But you know what? I say I will collect them. They look good. Unfortunately, I lost them all.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
I lost my Pokedex as well, too.
Yeah, but with this new game, which I have to say it's genius of the Pokemon Company and Nintendo to make this game, because if there's one thing I know about Nintendo, they always try to make these types of games that are very revolutionary. Try to go beyond using a controller. And now we have the Wii, we have Wii U. I mean, Nintendo's like a pioneer of trying to make very interactive video gaming without using a controller. And now we have this new mobile game where in order to progress, you have to go outside and walk.
Absolutely. And, well, as much as I've been hearing about it, and I'm about to confess an unfortunate truth, I do not play Pokemon Go. Don't attack me!
Hey, you're not alone on this one. I mean, I'm playing it right now because I was like really interested in the game and trying it out, and then
Yes. Now, a lot of people probably want to know, Richard, how can you not play Pokemon Go when you are a Pokemon fan by blood? And the reason for that is not because I don't like the app, because on the contrary, I actually love the idea of the app, but it's just that, I lost my connection to Pokemon a long time ago, and basically what I meant by that is like, I used to be a hardcore fan of the anime, but after seeing where the anime was going, and basically just seeing where the direction they were going, I just said, okay, I can't be into Pokemon anymore. But I do like the idea because it's pretty much what every kid has always wanted to do, go out and catch Pokemon. And Pokemon Go has been revolutionizing the way people go out and have adventures. And it's actually a way for people to actually find romantic partners, because I know a few... I know a friend of mine who actually found his current girlfriend, by playing Pokemon Go. And I was so amazed by that. In all the years I've been a Pokemon fan, I never thought that you would meet somebody by playing a Pokemon game.
right. I mean, that's wild right there. 'Cause I was actually seeing some memes on Facebook where people are saying now Pokemon Go is the new dating service. And I'm like, what? People are actually getting dates because of Pokemon Go? And now you told me this story, and I guess it's true, And
It is.
I
heard the rumors myself, and I didn't believe it until my friend Jonathan told me.
wow. I mean, it is. There are a lot of good coming out of it. I mean, like I said, it makes people go outside and walk and not staying cooped up, being 30-somethings and just being on, computer and looking at porn or something like that. But you know what? It's getting
Exactly.
it's getting people out and just walking around, and it's good exercise too. And even kids can play it. I mean, it is meant for kids, but you have more adults playing this game than children playing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think what's awesome about that is what Duo said, but I also like how, it's pretty much a type of way for people to just do what they've always wanted to do as kids. Because what was the one thing every kid wanted to do. They wanted to catch Pokemon and they wanted to be the best.
Right, exactly. And it's very, and it makes you feel like you are going out there and hunting Pokemon like Red or Ash or any other Pokemon trainers out there that's in the Pokemon series.
It does, and I do like how they're adding all Pokemon from the first generation instead of the newer Pokemon, because I'm more familiar with the first generation of Pokemon.
Same
so
here.
I am glad. Yeah, so I am glad that they're using that, and it honestly does not surprise me that this app is now the most purchased and pretty much globally downloaded app in existence, and that's amazing because in its first week it was already making headlines, and I have never seen Pokemon get this much attention in so long.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon pretty much got a breath of fresh air of getting back to its, how it used to be popular through this app,
It did, and it also helped Nintendo because a lot of people know this, but before Pokemon Go, Nintendo's stocks were going down, and they were really, really just needing something because the Wii U, unfortunately, did not help them in the way they thought, and there were so few original games on it, so they were pretty much in a huge pickle, and they needed something to pretty much just get them out of it. And I think this is where Pokemon Go came in, because if they would have known last year that, okay, we need to release a Pokemon app that has you go out and catch Pokemon, that is where we should put all of our attention and just worry about the next generation console for last.
Right. And I was actually also watching some reviews on people's opinion on Pokemon Go. I was also watching Mike Matei from Cinemassacre, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and he did a review of the game with this other person. It wasn't with James. It was with someone else, and how he was mentioning that it also helps us look at landmarks, go to landmarks, and even discover things that you never even knew about, even if you lived there for so long.
Exactly.
And so, in a way, it also kind of reconnects you to your neighborhood, your surroundings, your roots, and whatnot. So I thought that was actually good. I also saw some reviews of people who don't like the game. So like I said, you're not alone of people who don't play the game. I even have friends who don't play it. Have you heard of this guy named Rich Alvarez?
No, I have not.
He does this show, Stupid Mario Brothers. It's like a parody of the Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should actually watch it. It's really good, especially the Plumber Knight Returns. It's kind of like a Dark Knight mixed with Super Mario Brothers kind of thing.
Okay.
You'll enjoy that one. But anyway,
okay.
Rich Alvarez was mentioning about the game, and he said it sounds like a good game. The only thing he didn't like is how you get the Pokemon, because if we've played the original games, how we had to battle and make the Pokemon tire out before we actually capture them in the Pokeball. You don't really do that with this game. You just throw the Pokeball. Now, granted, they still can come out, and the way you tire them out is like you just exhaust them by making more attempts to throw the Pokeball, even give them berries to make them like you. And I guess he just didn't feel that the only thing that he would love from this experience was actually battle Pokemon to capture the Pokemon, which I can see where he's coming from, because in the game, in the anime, before you catch a Pokemon, you have to battle them, you have to subdue them, and then capture them. In this one, you just throw one Pokeball or a few more Pokeballs, and then you capture them.
Right, I agree with that.
And I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, it is a mobile game, because most mobile games are very simple when it comes to controls, you know what I mean? Because there's so much you can do with a touch screen and controlling things, you know what I mean? There's so much you can do. So I can understand why they made it this way, but I can also understand where Rich Alvarez was coming from, because to get that actual Pokemon experience, we get part of the experience by going out there and walking around, even going to Pokestops to get more Pokeballs, potions, and whatnot. But I think the part about battling is the one that's missing. Even like I've heard rumors that they're gonna add this patch where you can actually battle other trainers that you come across. I've heard about it. I don't know if that's true or not. But that's not in the app right now. Like, you know, you like say if I'm next to my wife who's playing it right now, and I'm playing it myself too. She's not on my game. I'm not on her game. So there's no way to say, oh, we're battling each other. You know what I mean? Which this is something that I bet a lot of people were expecting too, because even in the original game and the anime, sometimes you come across another trainer and say, I want to battle you. And then you battle to see whose Pokemon is the strongest. In this app, you don't get that.
Right. I agree with you on that. And when I first heard that all you have to do is throw a Pokeball, there was the little kid inside of me that said, well, why can't you just battle them the way you did in the game or the card game? Why do you just have to throw the Pokeball? But again, you know, like I can understand if it hasn't caught on yet, or if they just wanted to see what they could do, because Pokemon Go is simplistic and it's basic, you know, and I think, you know, it's good that, you know, they're not trying to pretty much just recreate, you know, the sequence of the anime where you just have to, specifically you have to battle, or the games for that matter, you have to battle a Pokemon with a certain other Pokemon that can do damage to that Pokemon, and then you catch them, and now that Pokemon is yours. So I think it was probably a good idea they keep it simple and easy for people to understand, because there are a lot of people in this day and age who do not know Pokemon. I mean, they're casual fans, but they weren't born, nor did they experience what it's called as Poke Fever during the 90s, because if you're a 90s kid like me, you know Poke Fever was everywhere and you could not escape it.
Oh, like, God, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, even Hulk Hogan himself was a Pokemon fan at the time, and that just goes to show you that, you know, I mean, Poke Fever did die out, but now it's back, and now it's making headway through this app. Now, again, going back to what I said, I'm not playing it because I'm out of touch. Not only am I out of touch with my Poke roots, it's just because, I mean, I've just grown out of Pokemon, which I never thought I would have done as a kid, but that doesn't mean that I can respect, because, trust me, I really do love how it's bringing people together and it's convincing people to go outside, you know, see things they've never seen before, do things they've always wanted to do, you know, so I like how it takes a lazy couch potato and just makes them be adventurous.
Right, you know, and that's what we need nowadays, you know, just to go out, because a lot of people with the internet and video games, like, people just want to stay home. And here's a video game where it's making you go outside, because you can't progress by just sitting there, you know, unless you have like a lot of essences where it lures Pokemon to you. You're not going to get anywhere with this game. You have to progress, and it's very addicting. You know, a lot of people are addicted, especially when they capture their first Pokemon. Once you catch that first Pokemon, you can't stop. And that happened to my wife. You know, at first I was like telling my wife, you should try this game, and she's like, no, I don't think I'm gonna be into it. I said, give it a try. She downloaded it, she caught her first Pokemon, and then she caught a little bit more Pokemon, and she couldn't stop.
Exactly, and just because it's addictive, it doesn't mean it's bad, because there was an episode of South Park where they talked about mobile games and how sometimes they feel like, okay, all you have to do is collect this or that, you know, like, depending on if you're just collecting coins, that's just blatant manipulation, but for something like this, you know, I think it's the opposite of that, because you're going around catching Pokemon, but you're not just doing it to where you can just lay down in your bed, you can travel around as a character, and then catch a Pokemon. Like, the game itself is literally forcing you to go outside and just, you know, catch Pokemon, be adventurous. And I really feel like as if this game, years from now, it's going to be looked back on, and it's just going to be the one game that not only brought Poke Fever back for the first time in nearly 20 years, but it also saved Nintendo from their current state. Now, Nintendo is stuck. They're going up risingly, exponentially, and they're basically just now moving forward with future development. So I feel like, in a way, their current state is owed to Pokemon. So I really think that that's good, that some good came out of it, and I really do like how it brings people together. It binds Pokemon fans together, old or new, depending, and it also pretty much can also bring people together romantically as well, because I never thought, this is not a joke, I mean, me and Duo, we've been Pokemon fans for the longest time, and we never would have thought we would, like, in an alternate universe, if we met the loves of our lives through Pokemon, that would have been the weirdest story of all time.
It would be, but it'll be nerd and nerd relationship. That just shows that nerds come together, nerds for life, you know what I mean?
Exactly, and for those asking, yes, people in my side do play Pokemon. Even Mrs. Kenobi plays Pokemon Go, and you know, so that shows that, okay, it does attract older fans, and it can, you know, convince them, you know, like, why don't we go outside and why don't we just do something? Duo's not lying. I mean, because, I mean, everyone who's obsessed with the internet over tablets, iPhones, games, they're always stuck in their houses in their own fantasy land, and they never want to get out of it. I mean,
Right.
I think Doug Walker explained it the best, where if you remained socially isolated, that can be bad for you. You're like, you don't know, and if you just come now for the first time, come outside and experience what we experience, you can have a different experience than what we first had.
Exactly.